Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. And this is Our Lost, Part 3, and it's the conclusion. I hope you were able to benefit from the previous 1 and 2 episodes. Listen to me, and hopefully you'll learn. I speak English. Grew up in the United States. The language is English. So I speak English, and most of us who are born here speak English. Now, if I went to China, Chinese speak Chinese. And having no understanding, I wouldn't. Have you seen the writing? No. That's confusing. And listening to the sound, there's no way we could communicate. And that's the same way wherever different languages are spoken. But you know what I learned? I learned that if we wanted to use each other for a benefit, something that would require us to want to know the other, we would pay attention. We would study. We would listen. We would dive into it. And after a period of time, we'd be able to speak that other language. And having learned that other language, we would be able to communicate. We would be able to do things together and understand one another. But something had to draw us to that point. It didn't just happen. Something had to bring us to that point. And nothing was wrong with the other way, except when we had to do something together, we had to break some rules and do something we hadn't done before. We had to pay attention, listen, understand. Well, that's basically the way it is when you come to blacks and white in America. White people, especially from the South, were trained, they were educated, they were indoctrinated, they were brainwashed to think that they were superior to black people. Black people were taught the opposite. They were taught to believe that they were less than even human. Now, just like the languages, if there's no reason to bring it together, there's no reason to bring the whites and blacks together, we will keep on perpetuating that false conception or idea. So how do we fight it? Well, we've been trying forever, it seems, but we have not been successful. Whites and that idea of being superior to blacks, and blacks who believe that they are equal, but they are walking to the traditions of that which has been established, which in essence says that they haven't come that far. And we know the reason that they haven't come that far, because in this process of developing, there is still an initiative that when you stand up against the powers that be, they will kill you. And the fear of death will keep a lot of people out of their place. Now that's the truth. So if you want to know why black people have not been able to step that other step, or white people haven't been able to step down that other step necessary to meet, they haven't found yet a reason strong enough to draw them together. Maybe that's what the New World Order is to do. Maybe that's why they want you to see a alien coming out of a spaceship, so you can be frightened all over the globe. And if they can set it up, the powers that be, so it'll look that way, they'll do it. And all of humankind will be afraid. And all of a sudden somebody will, or some agency or group will rise up and present itself as having a solution. And all the people are turning to that for the solution. And so the commitment is made. They go up, unplug the electricity, and that spaceship disappeared, and that alien disappeared. Or people are subjected to a scam. They don't know it just yet, because for a week or two, everything would be just like they thought it was going to be. But in a while, they're going to flip the script. And God, the God of money and power, is going to be sitting on the throne. And you will be used not like the puppies that you treat so well today, but like those slaves that your ancestry treated back in that day. And so it makes it easy for me to come to you and say to you, ladies and gentlemen, yes, when you study, if you grew up in America, you were taught about Christianity. If you grew up someplace else, you were taught about the faith that you had there. Now, the thing that you practice is what you really believe. Most people are taught one thing when it comes down to religion, but practice it in an opposite way. And so when the truth is required, people stand up in their way that they have established as truth, and it fails every time. Even their God and all that is failing, because it's nothing but a spiritual representation of themselves that they've created as God. But there is a true God for those who believe it. Now, I've studied books and everything, and I found that Christianity is nothing but a representation of something else and something else. I'm not going to call the names that have been given. But it doesn't matter to me, because in my life's experience, I have seen things. I've experienced things that no humankind can do. And so it created in me a place where this bizarre happening could be placed in something that I was taught. I was taught about a God. Now, this magnificent stuff that's happening that human can't do and is wonderful, I say it's God, because it is the kind of fruit that the God that I was taught about would produce. So I come to you, ladies and gentlemen, and tell you that I know that every one of us have dreams, just like every one of us have a need for food. Every one of us got a dream. We came here with a dream. And that dream, meeting that dream, face to face, is what brings joy in your life. But how do you get that joy without peace? How do you get that joy without prosperity? They must come with it. And coming with it, how do you get it? By following the path of the true God. The true God. There ain't but one real God in this way. Now, you might say it's another, but I tell you what, the true God, who has the power and the plan that would offer the fulfillment of your dream and your meaning, each and every last one of you. Hey, you can't fake that. All of the gods that we have been talking about, everything has never produced that. And all of them put it off to some other time. But I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the God that I'm speaking to you about is able to do it in this time. And so that you will know it's not a trick, so you will know that it's not a scam, so that you will know that it's not a con game, it will be done by you. And everything you do, you know will be real. And giving it that realness is what's going to create that peace that was needed. It's going to create that prosperity that was needed. And with those, you will have joy, because food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and all of those things that would allow you to be fulfilled in those dreams will be able to be made available to you. And you say how? Because each and every last one of you who've been given that dream, who've been given something to do, will now have a chance to put your hands to the plow. A plow that you don't mind pushing, because in it is nothing but constant joy. And in so doing, you're creating a manifestation of the one and only true God. Nothing else. You can't create a situation that a man ends up stealing. People don't just steal, but for one or two reasons. One is greed, and the other is because for survival. So if somebody is stealing not for greed, he's doing it for survival. So if you really want to fix that problem, you find out what's going wrong. You don't build a jail. Bill in jail saying you don't care. See, that's man's way, not God's. I hope you got something out of this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Eddie Marcus once again, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people. Basic human rights I consider are those things that are inalienable. Those things that are God-given, the Creator-given, and each and every last one of us require it in order to survive. And any of those other things like cream on the top, like cars and planes and picnics in Disney World and Disneyland where it's true fun and not just trying to exploit anybody, it's all yours. It is the fruit of walking according to the path of truth. So I can only say, our loss if we don't wake up. Wake up. Bye-bye.